what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It's
Gets
gross.
the people going.
Well, Hector, here's the game plan. You're gonna bring us 2 absolute martinis. You know how I like them, straight up. And then precisely 7½ minutes after that, you're gonna bring us 2 more. Then 2 more after that every 5 minutes until one of us passes the fuck out.
You got a bad attitude and you don't listen.
Oh, yes. There will be blood.
It is not the violence that sets man apart. All right, it is the distance that he is prepared to go.
Ever notice how you come across somebody once in a while that you shouldn't have fucked with? That's me.
What the fuck else would you do this job? Cocaine and hookers, my friend.
Welcome to the Max Ordinate podcast.
Oh, look, we were just here.
We were just here.
Same clothes.
Still evening. It's still a good evening.
And we got a little more food in me. And hopefully a poop that's going to come out at some point.
I'm trying to wash down my Coors with Celsius. You see that product placement?
They're not paying us.
I mean,
We can try as much as we want.
they could.
They're not paying us.
Wishful thinking.
I mean, I don't think they're going to pay us. I will just drink water out of my Owala cooler. Can we please get some sponsors?
You know, let me put my Vans up here.
Yes, and my Jordans.
All right, so we'll try to keep this to another short episode. And we're going to talk about what this year is. It's 2023. I haven't put together the video yet. I'm trying to do something really cool. And I'm like looking for my favorite 80s song to go with our 10-year anniversary.
Can you pick one? There's a lot of.
I don't know, man. I've been for whatever reason, like the song from Starship popped up on my YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
We Built a City.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, could I see my video being played with that song? I don't know.
No, man, there's a lot of good ones.
Are Beastie Boys considered 80s or 90s?
I mean, they cover 80s and 90s, 2000s. I mean,
they were kind of like before their time, right? They feel like more of a 90s band.
I mean, I'm going to say 80s for sure.
You think they feel like an 80s
I was
band?
breakdancing in 6th grade in the 80s to Beastie Boys.
I mean, I'm not saying that you weren't listening to them in the 80s. I'm saying that their feel of music, it feels like it's a
90s. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
You're wrong, but I could see that.
So anyway, this is a special year. July is going to mark our 10-year anniversary, right? And, you know, for one, they say like, you know, businesses will struggle for the first 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you don't make it past the 5-year mark, like, you know, like that's the hard spot, right? And there was definitely some hard trying times in there. But as I sit back and think about, man, 10 years, right? There's training companies that come and go.
Oh, for sure.
And we've been around for 10 years, but it hasn't been easy, you know, and just to get it started, like I got back from Afghanistan in 2011, my final deployment, fall of 2011, I come back and, you know, I had no intentions of getting out. I was like 20, baby, gonna retire out this bitch and go live on a beach somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then the spring of 2012, I'm slated to go be the marksmanship instructor at Scout Sniper Basic Course. And then like a month later, after getting told that that's where I'm going to go, a month later, the Marine Corps passes this order and says, hey, if you've been NJP'd, you have tattoos, you're getting the fuck out if you're not a staff sergeant. And I wasn't a staff sergeant. I was not in for 10 years yet. And, you know, I think I just hit my 9-year mark. I had an NJP from early in my career. I have tattoos, obviously, right? I've had these for a very long time. And they were trying to downgrade the fighting force. So they looked at it and said, okay, if you haven't been promoted, you're getting the fuck out. So my unit that I was with at the time was trying to get me meritoriously promoted. They were putting me in the below zone to get me like looked at earlier, just to try and get me promoted. They're giving me advanced fit reps, like all these things, and nothing worked, right? Out of all the people in the below zone to get promoted, right? There was 101 of us. 99 got promoted. 99, right? And it came down to like, I guess my tattoos and my NJP. At the time, tattoos were like looked down on.
Yeah.
And they really were trying to like get rid of full sleeve tattoos.
Yeah.
So boom, I get told like, you're being forced out. You have 6 months. And I'm like, fuck, what am I gonna do?
What am I gonna do for 6 months?
What do infantry guys do? You know,
Yeah.
like a lot of people just go be cops or oil workers or something like that. And I'm like, I don't know if that's what I want my life to be. And I was like, I had probably 2 years previously gone to accuracy first, taught Hodnett's course, right? The win course. And I really enjoyed it. And I loved being a sniper, and I loved everything that I did. And I really enjoyed the teaching part of it. So I was like, I'm gonna start a training company, right? And then I found out that the Marine Corps is gonna give me like 15 G's for kicking me out. I'm like, okay, give me the money.
Give me money.
Right?
I use that.
So, you know, at the time, I tell one of my platoon commander at the time, I'm like, I think I'm going to start this training company. And he's like, kind of persuading me against it. He's like, it's a tough business, man. Like, you might not make it, you know, yada, 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 you know, almost kind of like making me feel like he doesn't believe in me. Now, prior to this, maybe a few months, when I first got the idea in my head that I was going to start this training company when I get out, I went to my brother's wedding in Palm Beach, Florida. And it could have been that I was hammered drunk the night before at the wedding, or it could have been that he just didn't think I could do it, whatever it was. But you know, when I say my brother, it's actually like a foster brother, right? So I grew up in a few foster homes. So I'm telling my dad and, you know, basically everybody, I'm like, this is my plan. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm kind of just getting this like, look, like, oh yeah, like,
whatever.
Good luck to you. And I'm like, all right, so this motherfucker doesn't believe me, you know. And then I talked to, you know, one of my, you know, senior Marines, tell him my plan. And he's like, kind of that same attitude, like, good luck to you. You know, it's going to be a tough road, and, you know, you're probably not going to make it. So all of this negative influence is just kind of pushing me towards like, well, fuck all you guys. I'm going to do this anyway. You know, like, I'm going to do something that nobody else has done. And, you know, so I got out and I got hooked up with a guy that helped me kind of like break into the instructor realm. And my first bite at it was just being a guest instructor at a law enforcement course for Ron Fergolti. I don't know if you know that name.
Who Fergolti is?
It's fucking old school motherfucker, dude, right? So this is like 2000, the end of 2012. I'm on terminal leave, right? I no longer have to report to the Marine Corps. And I'm helping out Ron Fergolti, who is still teaching classes in 2012, but still stuck in 1990.
100%.
Right?
I've taken his classes.
So I'm like trying to teach these guys the fundamentals and stuff like that. And like, you know, my mindset is like, I'm a Marine Scout sniper and I'm one of the best shooters in the world. That's the mindset that you get into as being a Marine. And then I'm standing in the back of the class while he's teaching, and he's talking about scopes and minutes of angle and stuff like that. And then he's like, okay, all right, guys, we're going to talk about mills. I'm going to bring up Scout Sniper Tyler Hughes. And I'm like, what? I'm not even prepared.
I'm not ready.
I was not told. He's like, I don't know anything about mills, so you're going to have to cover it. I'm like, okay. So like, that was my first taste to it. And that's where I really saw like the gap between where we were as Marines and where law enforcement was, right? So I'd already been introduced to the competitive scene a little bit, and it started to change my thinking. One, because on the, you know, the military side, you're told like, you're a scout sniper, you're the best in the world. And then you go and you get your ass beat by a bunch of civilians and dentists and doctors. And you're like, fuck, I thought I was supposed to be the best in the world, and it's not working out that way. So obviously something that you're doing has to change. So my mentality had already started to shift of like, what are these guys doing different that we're not doing? And why is the gap so wide? And then you look another step back. Why is law enforcement so far behind?
Yeah.
You know, why are all these guys so shooting from the prone position? So started the company. And then I got hooked up with Aries Armor, started doing some stuff with them. And we started Max Ordinate. And we really got a big push and promotion from Four Guys Guns out on the East Coast. They really helped get us started. Nemo Arms, we did a big media event with them, shooting a mile target filled with explosives, like all of this stuff just helping us. Like, I'm not saying I did all of this on my own. I can never claim that, right? I had so much help along the way from tons of people that were, you know, take US Optics, for example. Like, I don't shoot US Optics anymore. The people who used to own it don't own it anymore.
Yeah.
But like Arnold and Jason, like there was a point in time where I approached them because I had met them through the Marines. I bought my own scope from them after deployment. And I'm like, hey, I started my own training company. And I would like to offer US Optic scopes to my customers. I was like, would you be willing to do like a discount for my students? And I was thinking like 15, 20%. They're like, how's 50% sound? I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. The US Optics has always been good with the discounts.
So like,
yeah.
Now they're giving my students 50% off. Like now my classes are filling because I can give them
They just want the
a
glass.
huge discount, right? So this is an opportunity for me to get my name out there, right? So
Yeah.
the class has got to be on point, but at the same time, you got to remember, like I was still learning. I knew stuff that the military taught me, but I was just a sponge with everything, like ballistics, scope operation, like minutes of angle, like all of this stuff that I didn't completely know. I'm still learning, right? And my goal was just to get better. Like I wanted to be the best. So like the law enforcement course that we're doing right now, we kind of like that was our flagship program for law enforcement. Was we have this advanced course. It's 5 days long. You're going to learn tripods, moving targets. Like you are going to come away from this a completely different cop sniper. And nobody else at the time was offering that type of training. So we were it. And people were flocking to us for two reasons. One, tripod training.
Yep.
Two, $500.
Yeah.
Like, hey, the course is only $500. What do you have to lose? You know, like eventually I'll raise my prices, but first I got to get word of mouth out there,
for sure.
you know? And then on top of that, dude, you know, California's a big ass state, right? Okay.
It's long.
Have you ever Googled law enforcement departments in California? It's a big list.
It's huge.
I called 80% of those motherfuckers on the phone. Hey, can I talk to your SWAT team? Oh, we don't have one. Okay, thanks, bye. Next number. Hey, can I talk to your SWAT team? Do you have an email contact? Oh yeah, here, let us give it to you. And then I send them an advertisement. All right. So a lot of time spent on the phone, dude, but it was that drive of like, have to be successful, you know? And that money the Marine Corps gave me, I bought steel targets. I bought stuff to help me train with. And then I bought a travel trailer. And I lived in Aries Armor parking lot in my travel trailer. I got to plug into their electricity, but I didn't have any water. But I had a 24-hour fitness membership. So I would shower at 24-hour fitness. I'd eat like a Subway a day and free electricity. You know, like that was it. And I'd drive out to the range. The hard part was like kind of like finding places that you could set your feet into, you know? So we would travel a little bit, try to get our name out there. We went to New Hampshire. We did some stuff in Cali, but we had to travel. You know, how else are you going to get your name out if you don't travel, right?
100%.
So we traveled, and then we ended up finding a property in the Kauai Indian Reservation. Hooked up with a property owner out there, started doing some stuff, and now we had roots. We had a place that we could go and call our own and bring our students out to. So it was good for a little while. And same thing, like the struggle was real, you know, you get some students in, but you're offering prices that are so low just to get your name out there. You're going to competitions. So all the money you make in the courses, you're turning around and you're investing it into, I got to go to competitions, right? And at the time I look back at it, like I was shooting a 308 for a long time because that was what I shot in the Marines. So then I'm out of the Marines. I got a 308 and I'd like go to a competition like Vegas. Before I knew all the homies in Vegas, I'd like go shoot a competition in Vegas. pull off like 308 high shooter. Even though that put me in like fucking 20th place.
Yeah.
On my social media, I'm like 308 high shooter, you know, like it looked stupid as fuck, but I was doing everything I could to just promote any positiveness, you know, like going to different events, meeting people, fucking SHOT Show. Like, I think I hoard myself out at SHOT Show the first 3 years, like just trying to meet people, trying to get angles, advantages, discount codes, partnerships, like you name it, you know, like the people, you know, and people that are willing to take chances with you are going to take you so much farther.
Absolutely.
Than you could do it on your own.
Yep.
You know, so
I've said for years that everything I have, I've gotten off the back of somebody I know or a friend, somebody who's helped me out along the way.
Yeah. 100%. You know, so like it hasn't been easy. It's been a struggle for real. And then I got hooked up with Barrett Firearms, and I was doing, you know, their domestic and international long range training, while also trying to run Max Ordinate. And, you know, there was some ties there, but man, it's been a journey, you know? And
yeah,
I want to say at a couple different points, whether it was like, okay, this looks like an opportunity. And at the same time, like, you know, is Max Ordinate putting food on the table right now? You know? So I think like one of those timeframes was like 2015. We're about 2 or 3 years into start of the company. And it's like, you know, you got your highs and your lows. And in the early days, you got to be able to weather those peaks and valleys, man, because they're big.
Yeah.
They're big,
They are.
You know? So 2015, talked to US Optics, and they're interested in having their own academy. I'm like, well, fuck, why don't I start it for you? I've already got a foundation. I need financial backing.
I need money.
I need money, right? So we start the US Optics Academy. We do some good things there. And then ultimately I end up leaving that and coming back to Max Ordinate, right? So now pushing forward, 2016, I'm starting to work with Falcor Defense and promoting their stuff, shooting their guns. I shoot their rifles at some of the competitions, you know, and it's a good gig, right? And then roll into 2017, again, like peaks and valleys, man, peaks and valleys. An opportunity came where I would get to work for Falcor Defense and be their military law enforcement training and sales. So with everything that I do, I tend to overdo shit. So now I'm part of their military and sales law enforcement stuff. So now I'm all over the country. And, you know, the program that we put together was you're going to get a rifle demo with training from Max Ordinate. So now I'm all over the country, dude. I spent half a year everywhere but home, driving, flying. I mean, the stories. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So met a lot of cool departments all over the United States, been to, you know, countless fucking tactical officer association shit, you know, and then, you know, that was about a year time frame. And then I came back and it was full-time Max Ordinate. But now things, you know, like every opportunity that I had, I always used it to boost the visibility. So now I had a little bit more visibility with Max Ordinate. And then we changed range. We got away from the Indian Reservation. We moved out to Apple Valley. And same thing. It was just like, gotta get out there. We gotta meet people. We gotta get your name. You gotta, you know, anything that you could do. And, you know, sometimes you feel like a whore a little bit. Right?
Oh, for sure.
You know, on one side, you're sitting there and you're looking at it and you're like, man, like, look at what all these people, look what I'm doing and what all these people are seeing, right? Then on the other side of it, you're like, the gun industry is so fucking small. Like, fuck all you guys. I'm out here to be successful.
Yeah.
And the 300 other million Americans who shoot guns have nothing to do with the firearms industry.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes you got to take yourself back and you really got to put that business hat on. And a lot of this stuff was like learn on the fly, you know, like Photoshop. I didn't know shit about Photoshop, but
I can't afford to have
somebody to pay somebody for
right.
it. So I got to learn how to do it, you know, the video stuff that we're doing. Like, could we afford it now? I think we might be able to afford some video stuff, but at the same time, that mindset of like, I know what I want.
I want to do it my way.
Let me learn how to
Yeah.
fucking do it. And then eventually, if I don't want to do it anymore, then I'll find somebody to do it.
Yeah.
But at least I know what's going on and I'll be more educated about it when the time comes. But, you know, it was a constant grind of like building partnerships. And, you know, as much as, you know, people want to talk about like save money, invest, you know, stuff like that. There is no room in starting a business for a lot of that. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
any money you make is going right back into something, right? And then you're looking at like, okay, I have $10,000. How can I spend it to maximize what I'm going to get out of it?
Yeah.
You know, like you can buy cool shit, but if that stuff that you're buying is not giving you a return on your investment, then you just wasted your money. Right?
Absolutely.
And now you're still down at the bottom.
And ego gets in the way of most people's success in the first 5 years of business because they get a little bit of money and it just gets spent.
Yeah.
It gets spent because they aren't, I don't want to say they don't have the humility, but they look at themselves, they don't look at themselves on the right level and go, I'm not rich.
Yeah.
I'm not successful yet. I may be the business might be doing good, but I need to continue to reinvest. And you know, when I left the police department, you know, we starved for years.
Yeah.
Just every dime I went back in the business.
Yeah.
Took a second mortgage on the house, went back in the business.
Fucking cars, uniforms, like everything,
Oh,
right? I mean,
100%.
dude,
So, you know,
to just even show up looking professional.
just
you
to
know,
just to buy a polo.
all that stuff costs money.
It does.
The little stickers that people want,
Uh-huh.
they're like, oh, can I get a
Yeah.
sticker? It's like, yep, there's fucking 25 cents.
It took me 5 years to get our first hat.
Yeah.
I was just like, we don't have money for hats. We're an employee-centric business. I need to buy 100 hats. I can't afford it.
You
So,
know,
yeah.
like one of the first expenses that I did was, man, did I put it on a credit card? I might have put it on a credit card, but we're doing these law enforcement classes for $500.
Mhm.
And I'm like, word of mouth is great, but I need these motherfuckers to wear a t-shirt. So if you sign up for the course, you got a t-shirt.
You get a t-shirt,
right? Because I need you to go back and wear that fucking shirt,
Yep.
you know? So like you're really thinking about how can you best spend the money, right? And sometimes like, man, I want to do this range improvement, but is it going to make you money?
We have those
right?
discussions all the time.
If I buy all of these shirts and we sell all of them, what will my profit be? And then what can I do with that money to do the range better?
Yeah.
You know, like there's all of these things. Ego is definitely a big one, you know, like you can't go into it and say like, you know, that was one of the things I used to tell myself, and I still tell myself to this day, like 2019, things are going really well. Fucking, we're crushing it. I feel good. Like the business is humming. And, you know, somebody was like, you fucking made it. I'm like, I ain't made shit.
I mean,
Right.
nothing.
I have made nothing. I still see myself down here at the bottom. Right. When I'm not working anymore, then we could say maybe I made it. Right. But right now I'm still working. I'm still the guy that you see out at the range every fucking day. I'm still hanging targets. I'm still doing all the work. Like I ain't made shit, you know, like, and that's the mindset that you got to keep, because the minute you think that you've made it, you stop pushing, right? You stop reaching for a higher level. So I'm a very competitive guy in nature, and that's been another growing area for me. It's like not just the Photoshop and the videos and, you know, like trying to do things more professional, but sometimes the competitive side would get in my way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you almost have to put blinders on, like this is the path that we are on and here's where we're going.
Yeah.
And then if you start to like pay attention, like who's this fucking training company popping up in SoCal? It's like, why am I paying attention to them?
Yeah.
If I do me, I will outlast them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. They can't hold a candle to what we're doing. But if I get sidetracked thinking about them, we are not focused on where we're going.
And I do that shit all the time. I'll send you like, who the fuck are these guys? Like, where the
And
fuck
I'm
are these guys coming from?
Delete. I can't fucking think about that right now. All right. We got to do us. We got to do our thing, you know? So that's an easy one, especially if you're a competitive person. Like competitiveness can drive you. And I'm with that, right? I love being competitive. I love being pushed. But at the same time, you got to keep it from getting you sidetracked from what you set your plan as, you know, like, and you know, that'll happen. And sometimes you just got to bring yourself back. So sometimes I've almost made it to a point where, like, if I see something, I will not act on it for like 3 days. And if I still feel the same way after 3 days, then I'm like, okay, maybe I need to do something.
Yeah.
But after 3 days, if my emotions have calmed down, I'm like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I don't
You
need
know, but I can't react off that knee jerk shit.
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
but I mean, it's been a journey. It's been 10 years, and the amount of learning and growth that happens, right? But you gotta, you know, especially if you don't have the financial backing, you have to be willing to, like, you're risking everything.
Yeah.
Every
time.
Everything, you know, like, we had, you know, things like bills that didn't get paid, like, fuck, we're late on this, or we can't make this payment. Like, you know, we have to make things work, and you're either going to crumble under those circumstances or you're going to find a way.
Yeah.
Right. There's money out there. There's ways of making money. You can build your brand, right? But money is always exchanging hands. And I heard this, I think, off like a fucking, what's his name? Andrew Tate fucking podcast. Like, he was talking and he's like, you know, money is always moving. And as a business owner, your goal is to get in between that transaction.
Yeah.
How can I intercept that money and I take it, you know? So, because you can't make money, right? We always talk about making money, but in reality, like, you ain't making it. You're just taking it from somebody else.
Give it to someone else.
You know? So a product, a brand, a service, you know, something that is valuable, and you continue to build on that, right? And that's one of the things that I also kind of, I don't know if fear is the right word, but I'm always cognizant of, like, can't be stagnant, you know, like,
Absolutely.
industry's changing, gears changing, techniques are changing. So we're always like, okay, get out of the mindset of like, that's fucking stupid, and let's actually evaluate this and say, is this worth it? Like, I've seen techniques that have come out and I'm like, it looks shady as fuck, but let's break it down. Let's see what's actually happening here and see if it's something that we could use, you know? Gears the same way. Like, I used to be a big negative Nancy on, like, you know, a new piece of gear will come out. Or, you know what? I remember we were all shooting Manfrotto tripods.
Mhm.
Really right stuff came out with a tripod. And
I said, when they came out, I was like, whatever.
I'm not fucking buying it.
I'm not spending
No.
$1,000 on a fucking tripod.
It's not happening,
Yeah.
right? Not happening. Fuck you. I could shoot with my Manfrotto just as good. And I did for like a year and a half. I was like, nope. I don't need no fucking Manfrotto, or, you know, I don't need no fucking really right stuff. I got this, and I can slay targets. And then I shot from one. And then I was like, fuck. I was
damn me.
I was so negative about this product that I prevented myself from experiencing and actually opening my mind and saying, let's evaluate it.
Yeah.
You know, so now that's the approach that you have to take, is like, before you shun something, make sure you give it an honest assessment, right?
Yeah.
Cost $1,000. And at the time that was like, dude, that's a lot of fucking money. You know, like,
I think from a product standpoint, when I say product, I mean not Max Ordinate, but the product that Max Ordinate offers. I think that's where you excel, in that you offer something that is different, but you're also willing to basically essentially keep up with the times.
yeah,
As a business model, business is business. Right?
yeah.
Your business model is exactly the fucking same as mine. They're just different businesses. We just need to hustle. We need to stay relevant. We need to continue to not be complacent and go out there and realize we need to continue to act like we're hungry.
Yeah.
That's the end of it, right? I mean, I remember calling US Bank going, hey, I'm not making my mortgage or my truck payment this month. I'm just letting you know.
I'm just letting you
I'm
know.
just not paying it, but I'll pay it next month, right?
Yeah.
We do what we got to do to keep the business successful. But from a product standpoint, you really stand out, which is what I like. It's something that there's a lot of training companies that they just don't offer this kind of shit, you know?
Yeah.
So I think looking at what the other ones that have been in business a long time have done and going, what did they do to be successful?
Yeah.
I don't care what their product is. I think their product shit, but they've been around 20 years. What have they done to stay in business?
Yeah.
Which is what I've done. I'm like, these other companies are crap, but they're in business. I'm going to do exactly what they did, just offer a different product.
Yeah.
So, when I see Max Ordinate, I see, fuck, these guys from a product standpoint are offering something that nobody's offering. And why isn't anybody offering? Why isn't anybody keeping up with those? Like, everybody should be doing this in the industry, and they're not. Very few companies are doing it.
I think it's either one, it's hard, right?
It is.
One, I mean, you look at like I'm gone a lot right now. Like I'm overseas. I know. I have a contract that I have to fulfill. So I have instructors that I trust that I've trained to fill in for me, right? But at the same time, like they, last year they had PowerPoints and classes and schedules all set by me. Like if you come to our course, everything you're getting is 100% put together by me, delivered by them.
Yep.
And then this year, it's like looking at the PowerPoints, I'm like, they all got to be redone. It fucking sucks. But the way that I want the class schedule to go, the content that I want in the PowerPoint classes, I want it changed because I have learned things. I have changed my thinking on certain things. Like things have evolved, and we just can't keep teaching the same.
But it's a lot of work to do that.
Of course, yeah. Takes me probably a whole friggin' day and a half to do the presentation the way that I want. Right? I want pictures that will visually show you what I want you to see. I have motion graphics that I want you to see. Like it takes time to put all this together the right way, right? And people don't want to put the effort.
Yeah.
Right. There's that hunger in there. Some people are just, it's good enough, the schedule, constantly trying to look at the schedules of like, okay, you're going to come to our advanced law enforcement course. And then I look at the schedule. I'm like, okay, last year's schedule looked like this, but I want this here. I want that here. I want this day to do this. I want to do more movers. We need to have more night shoots. So now you look at the new schedule and it looks nothing like the old one. We focus on different things, and it's like, okay, we need to develop these skills faster so that we can focus on these things and put these guys into situations of training that they'll see in real life. Right. So it's constantly evolving. And it is, it's a challenge, right? So I think one, that's part of it, is that there's a laziness factor with, other companies that don't want to constantly update. It's time consuming, if you don't, I'll put it to you this way. When I was only doing Max Ordinate, I focused 100% of my time on this or training for myself, like going out competing, getting better. I can promise you this right now. Like when I got out of the Marines, I was a good shooter. I went to a competition shooting 308. Out of 100 shooters, I was 38th. I was the high 308 shooter, right? I switched to 260. I've had good moments, bad moments. I would go to monthly matches and I'd be top 10, top 15, right? And then I got better, right? Because I was so focused on like, what are they doing that I'm not doing, and why are they doing it? What are the benefits of it? What are the negative sides? What is this free recoil bullshit? Do I agree with it? Do I not agree with it? So always learning. And now, I put myself in a position where I've learned all of these things on my own, and monthly matches win. Fucking national matches, top 5. Like that's the progression, right? But when I wasn't training for myself, it was 100% Max Ordinate dedication. Now you look at maybe a training company where a guy only does it on the weekends.
Yeah.
Well, if he only does training on the weekends, how much time is he dedicating it to during the week, right? And it's hard. I'm doing the contracting gig right now. I work, a lot of my time for good old Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Yet I still get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to do podcasts with you. I'm still sitting there after a long ass fucking day. Okay, I got to sit down and do fucking Max Ordinate shit. Nick needs this. Nick needs that. Fucking these guys need this. I got to order shit for the team. I need to look at these PowerPoints. And before you know it, it's fucking 9 p.m. And I'm like, fuck, I got to go to bed. I got to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning to fucking podcast with Jeff. Like the commitment is vast. And with a lot of companies that guys are working full-time jobs and doing this as a side hustle, the commitment's not there. you know?
Absolutely.
So you have to look at that, right? That could also be a potential reason, like, why is this course not evolved? You know, it was cool today training the Marietta guys and some of the Hemet guys. I think I had one or two guys that took my course like 7 years ago. They haven't learned the new wind formula. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, so let's talk about what your wind call is going to be for this first target. I'm like, so what's your distance? What's your start point? How fast the wind blowing? What's your multiplier? And he's like, I've never heard this wind formula. I'm like, well, things change. Things evolve, right? We get better. He's like, that's a good point. And I've never heard this before. I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about
Well,
it.
fucking okay, listen
You know,
up.
One guy pulled out a pig saddle and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? He's like, using my pig saddle. I was like, okay, but you also have a fucking the foldable hex keys shoved in there. And he's like, that's because the rubber pad fell off and it won't clamp on my rifle anymore. I'm like, dude, I'm like, let me show you what we can do in the new age here. So I like get my game changer. I'm like, it's heavy. I understand it's heavy, right? But if there's only one piece of gear that you need, it's fucking this, right? This bag will solve a lot of your issues. You can shoot from barricades. You can use it as a rear bag. It's your go-to for everything. And watch what happens when we put it on the tripod. So we put it over the pig saddle, get in position. I'm like telling him what to do with his non-firing hand, position, body alignment, all that stuff. He's like, it's fucking stable. I'm like, yeah, like
I'm crazy.
we are evolving, So that's and that's another struggle with not always having the same guys at the modernization program.
Yeah.
Like you get one here, he'll show up this month, you get another one show up that month, right? But so evolution has to happen, and I think we've done pretty good at doing that. And I think part of that is like, I'm not afraid to go out there and risk it.
Yeah.
Even in front of the Marines, like, is the thought in my mind that, I can't fuck this up. I don't want to look bad in front of these guys, right? But at the same time, I'm like, you're a good fucking shooter. Just shut the fuck up and shoot, Tyler. You know what you're doing, right? And then I go and I perform, and you know what? I might miss a target here or there, but that happens, I'm not claiming to never miss. I'm just claiming that I will beat you. Right?
I'll beat everybody here.
So, I'm not afraid to put myself out there, go compete, fucking learn new things, but show people that what we teach is not just something that is written down, but it's what we do, right? And that's what's cool with both Nicks. You got Nick Helbert and Nick Diaz. Like they're both out there getting after it on the competitive side.
Yeah.
Nick's climbing up the ladder. Nick Helbert's running fucking local matches. Like, everybody that does anything for me in terms of instructing is also out there showing that they can do it.
And it's funny because I had this discussion with one of my guys and he's like, well, why are you building another rifle? You've seen my safe. It's just fucking loaded.
Yeah.
And I said, look, because I said, I was having this discussion and it came up, I forget what subject it was. It came up on the podcast. I said, but I cannot be a subject matter expert.
Yeah.
And not fucking compete anymore.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not in the business, if I'm not in my fucking greens shooting bad guys, or at least looking down the fucking scope of one in training, I said, then I need to be out fucking competing.
Yeah.
So, everybody, and it's what I like about, Max Ordinate as a company, is everybody in it realizes that you have to be doing it. You can't just be talking about it.
Yeah.
So, it was sort of a gut check to myself. I was like, fuck, dude, I can no longer be a subject matter expert on this shit if I'm not out doing it anymore.
Yeah.
So, that was, plus there's an excuse to build another rifle.
So there's that, you got to build another rifle, but you got to be willing to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Even if you look bad.
I'm going to get my ass handed to me. Absolutely.
That's the thing. And, too many times I see, companies jump up and it's like, hey, we're teaching this. And it's like, what are you teaching? I want to know. I'm not saying that you're bad. I'm saying that, is this stuff that you learned 15 years ago? And you're like, oh, fucking long range is popular now. Let me fucking teach it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the modern stuff that we have been, gifted with in terms of technology and techniques and things like that? So You definitely got to be willing to put yourself out there, even if it makes you look bad. If you're a good shooter, then you will catch on to the competitive side quick, right? Newbies takes a little bit longer because you're kind of like a fire hose.
Yeah.
But
for
if you're
sure.
a good shooter, you will catch on
Yep.
a lot faster, right? Things will click a lot easier for you. But you got to be willing to put yourself out there, and sometimes you just don't.
Yeah, and there's a humility in putting yourself out there, and that's what it all goes back to. I won't say it all goes back to, but so much of it goes back to ego, because it's real easy for guys to be in your position to just go, okay, I'm running my company, I got business coming in, I don't need to put myself out there because the risk is too great for me to look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Whereas you're willing to do that. I mean, we're not going to talk it. You had 2 matches this weekend and I got results of both. You're not afraid to go out there and look like an idiot.
Dude, we got to talk about that.
We will.
We will talk about that.
But the point I'm making is that we're all willing to go out and look foolish.
Yeah.
Not that it's foolish, but we're willing to look foolish. I'm willing to just go knock on a fucking door of some random business I don't know and say, hey, do you need my service? And I just feel like a salesman. Don't care. That's how you build the business. Whereas you're willing to just go out and shoot a fucking match that you haven't shot in ever. You're fresh off the fucking boat from Japan, haven't been training like you should be, but you're willing to go do it because that's what you need to do.
It's a lifestyle, I think, I don't know how to describe it. Is it cool? Is it a pride thing? But something that kind of makes me laugh on the inside a little bit is like, I go to a match and maybe I play 6th or 7th, or maybe I fall outside the top 10, maybe I'm 11th, whatever it is, and somebody come up and be like, hey, you okay? Is everything good? Like, you have rifle problems? I'm like, maybe I just sucked today.
Yeah.
Maybe I just fucking sucked,
Yeah.
But I'm glad that your expectations are where mine are,
Yeah.
But that's the brand, that's what anytime that you are starting a business, you're running a business, you're trying to think about like, what's our brand going to be? What are people going to see when they hear the word Max Ordinate? When people wear the shirt and they're like, I know those guys, I've been thinking about training with them, it's like, or you see other law enforcement guys wearing your shirt and other cops say that. I saw the shirt and I heard that you guys are the ones to come to. We have guys coming from Alaska and our December advanced course. We have 2 or 3 guys from Alaska flying down here because they've been told that we're the ones to come to. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, when you hear things like that, it just gives you that extra boost of like, I got to keep going, got to keep grinding, got to keep that hunger, and you find different things that help you maintain that.
Yeah.
Right. When you reach a pedestal, and I've heard other points of view on it where people will be like, well, Tyler, you never let yourself achieve a goal. Before you reach that goal, you've already set a new one.
Yeah.
So
as well you should.
How can you be positive if you never let yourself reach that goal? I'm like, well, if I reach the goal, what if I stop? My mindset is like, that's just a step, right?
Yeah. And
where I want to go is higher than that.
So the difference, I think, is there's people that really want to put the work in, they want to hustle hard, and they want to grind for 5 to 10 years so they can be successful, right?
Yeah.
I honestly don't care. And at a point where I don't think you give a shit either. I think it's really about, I enjoy the process and I enjoy the grind as much as I enjoy fucking cashing checks, right? I enjoy in my business doing what I do, because it's like, if I didn't do it, I would just find something else to focus on, right? So, if you had all the riches in the world and Max Ordinate successful, you wouldn't just go fucking climb rocks. You'd find another hustle to figure out how to grind. That's how your brain works. Like, that's how successful people that want to grind work. So for me, it's just about, and I hate using that fucking word, grind and hustle, but it's relevant. For me, it's about that.
Yeah.
It's about the calls of figuring shit out and trying to calculate and trying to come up with plans. Like, that's where I live.
I enjoy everything about it, right? The process as a whole, right? We're not just talking about teaching and setting up classes, but I just spent 2 days painting the classroom and the guest rooms. The outside of them, I want them all to be gray.
I did not, in fact, spend 2 days doing that.
I put the roof up, so we got a nice complete shade structure. Like, I spent 2 full days doing that. And then I stepped back and I'm like, this looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it has nothing to do with shooting, but it has something to do with building the company.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow I'm going to go out there and I'm going to mount the anchors so that we can rappel down the high angle. And I'm already imagining, like, man, how fucking awesome is it going to be that we're going to be up here, we're going to shoot, and then we're going to set up everybody's fucking, harness, and we're all going to rappel down the mountain. Like, thinking about what the student experience is going to be. And, it's legit.
Yeah.
It's the process, everything about the process. Fuck, I could go put up a fence around the property right now and I'd be like, look at that fence. Badass fence.
But that's where, that's why the 10-year mark is here.
Yeah.
That's why it wasn't at 5 years going, fuck, that was such a kick-ass training company. I wish it would have worked.
Yeah.
That's why the 10-year mark is here. And that's why in 20 years, we're going to laugh about this podcast.
Yeah.
Same shit.
It's, I took a break. I worked for US Optics. I took another break and I kind of mixed with Falcor. And now I have, a Marine contracting gig, and every time that I've said, oh, look at this opportunity over here, something for me to learn is in this area, right? 100%. You work for an optics company and you learn all of this shit about optics. And then you go work for a rifle company and you learn the ins and outs of gas guns and manufacturing. And you're like, fuck, look at all this stuff that I learned, So there are opportunities. And then the same thing with the urban sniper course. Like, this is just another opportunity of growth and development. But then I always find myself wanting to come back, say, every one of those spots has a ceiling. And this doesn't.
This does not.
This goes as high as I want it to go. Yep. As much of myself that I'm willing to put in, it can go that high, and that's what has been the most epic portion of owning the company, is knowing that there's no limit, right? I'm not going to hit, I can't get promoted. I'm not looking for a promotion. But you work for a company and it's like, man, I wonder when I'm going to get a pay raise, or when I'm going to get, promoted. I want to be in this job, right? And then at a certain point, it's like, this is it. This is as high as you can go. But when you own your own business and you've put that much of your life into it, right? You're not asking yourself like, man, when am I going to get a raise, right? You're thinking like, what can I do to make it better?
Yeah.
How can we get bigger? How can we get better? How can we improve the brand, right? That is the promotion. That is the pay raise, like, that's it. And it's a different experience, but there's 2 sides of that coin. There ain't no guarantee paycheck.
I know.
If you don't put the effort in, nobody's paying you. So you got to be willing to put the effort in. But man, 10 years, I was thinking about where we started and all the people that have been along the way, like, right now, previously to the current Max Ordinate ownership, right? There's been 2 other owners, right? First guy who I started with just didn't work out. Like, he had a girl, they got pregnant, and his life was taking him somewhere else. And the struggle, he wasn't able to, he knew that he couldn't commit to it, right? And then, fast forward, got another business partner, and kind of the same thing. He's just like, I can't give the time and effort that the company needs, right? Because if you're a partner, I expect you to pull the weight that I can't pull, right?
Absolutely.
That's the point of having a partner.
Absolutely.
Is like, hey, I can't do this. I just physically don't have the skill set, or I don't have the time. Like, whatever it is, but I can't do this. I need you to do it. And then boom, it happens, right? So now I think the current structure works really well, but you'll always, you'll always run into people who can't hack it. And it's not a bad thing, right? It's recognizing that you can't, right? You don't have the risk. What's the right word? Like
Risk averse.
It sounds right, but I don't know if it's the right
I
word,
don't know.
right? You don't have the ability to just lay it out there and say, here's everything I'm willing to risk, right? Fucking chips on the table, baby. So if you can recognize that, then I'm still really good friends with both of those guys. It just didn't work. It just didn't work because they didn't have the ability to put that effort in, right? They had other things going on in their lives, and it's okay, right? It's okay to say, I just can't do what the company needs, and it's better for you to move on without me. I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'll figure it out, So business partners, just, you're not always going to bat 1,000, but then once you find the right ones, right, and things just start working. And the other thing is just being like, I guess, honest, but brutally honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also being able to separate businesses from friendships, whereas
that's where a lot of people struggle.
They do. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. It's hard to tell a friend, hey, this ain't working out, you need to kick rocks, right? Like I've had people in the company that I was friends with that I was like you're in the wrong position. Like, this is just this isn't working. And you have to be brutally honest with those people, but we're still friends. You have to be able to separate that. And you have the natural tendency when you start a business is to surround you with familiar people. And sometimes that familiar people are your friends. You're like, yeah, you're going to do great. Like, we're friends, we can work together. And it doesn't always work out that way.
No, it doesn't. Right. And then, for me, it's always been like a switch. Like, we're friends. Okay, it's work time. Hey, bro, it's really good to see you. Why the fuck are you late? You know, so for me, it's always been a switch, and I've been really good about being able to just jump to either side, but the brutal honesty part is like, sometimes you got to be able to look at each other. It's like, Jeff, if you were the boss right now, would you fire you? Because I'm there.
That's right, where I'm at.
And you're like, Tyler, you fucked this up. You cost us $10,000. I'm like, yeah, I did. I spent money in the wrong spot, or I didn't have something proofread, or we printed, 5,000 flyers and there was a typo, which I haven't done that for Max Ordinate before.
Oh, it's happened to me.
But I did
often.
I did do that. I actually got put in charge of like, hey, Tyler, make these t-shirts. So like, I'm semi-decent at the graphic design. Falcor told me to make a t-shirt, and I wanted it to look like the Jack Daniels logo, but with Falcor Defense. So I made it all out. Everything is good. At the bottom where it says like something Tennessee. Well, I put Kalispell, Montana, but I forgot one of the L's. So like, to me, everything looked great.
Yeah, it looked great.
The t-shirts came out fabulous. And Melinda's looking at it. And she's like, how many of these shirts did we order? I'm like, I don't know, 8,000. She's like, you misspelled Kalispell. I'm like, nobody will notice. She's like, we can't sell these. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like 8,000 t-shirts, bad. All because I didn't have somebody proofread it, so it's like, it's stuff like that. And you've got to be able to take those hits, especially when you're working with partners, and you got to hold each other up. But at the same time, like, recognizing when somebody's down, oh fuck, I got to pick up the slack. The big one, you didn't know either, but come to find out, like, Paul's in the hospital.
Since when?
Well, he's not right now.
Well,
but he was.
Yes.
When I first got here a few weeks ago, Paul's in the hospital. And I had texted him. I'm like, hey man, we got messages on the website. We also got some orders that need to get shipped out too. I'm like, no response. And like a couple days go by. I'm like, Paul, are you alive? Nobody tell me that you died. Like, what's going on here? And I finally get a message from his wife. Paul's in the hospital. He's got this, he's got this thing going on, and he's not available right now. I'm like, well, fuck, nobody told me.
What the fuck?
So let me get on the website and start fucking, Paul usually answers all the messages, fucking handles the shipping of products, stuff like that. And it's like, okay, he's not here. I got to pick it up slack, right? That's what has to happen.
Yep.
And, like you do the same thing for me. When I'm not available, hey, I need somebody at the range like yesterday. Boom, somebody's there, right? Law enforcement department. Hey, we want to rent the range. I'm not available. I can't be there.
We'll figure it out.
Boom, somebody picks it up, right? You're always picking up slack for the other person, but you're always there to also call each other out if there's, stuff that doesn't go right, So, and it's nice to have somebody to bounce ideas off of. When we submitted for the aerial contract, like I got it all typed up, our whole contract fucking, submission, and then send it to you, send it to Paul, send it to fucking everybody that would read
everybody
it.
take a look at it.
Tell me what you think. Did I spell everything correctly? What do you think about this t-shirt design? Do you think this is where we should spend money? Hey, I want to buy stickers. Is that going to make us money? Oh, no. Oh, okay. I won't buy them.
Like having a team is so important to be able to do that shit with. Having a team of people you can trust. And that's any business, whether it's your business, my business, whatever it is, our business, you have to have a team of people to bounce those ideas with. I mean, that's part of what I love. I love those conversations. I love the fucking Zoom meetings and the conference calls that just throwing shit around. Because that's where the growth happens.
A lot of growth, right? But then also like I'll come up with this fucking logo. I'm like, what do you guys think?
It's fucking awful.
And you guys are like, I don't fucking like it. I'm like, what do you mean you don't like it? And like 3/4 of the room is like, I fucking hate it. I'm like, but I work so hard on it.
Bet 1,000.
Like, but sometimes that happens, man. And it's better that it happens then
before you print 8,000 shirts.
Before we print 8,000 shirts and then nobody likes the shirts, right? So another one that another kind of lesson learned is probably past 4-5 years, the original Max Ordinate logo, right? When we were trying to come up with the name of the company, it was working with Four Guys Guns, and they were like, give us some words that deal with long range shooting. We just started spitting words out. Right. And I said, Max Ordinate. And he's like, what? I was like, Max Ordinate. He's like, what is that? I'm like, it's the highest point of the round on its trajectory. He's like, I'll call you right back. Boom, hangs up on me. 5 minutes later, he sends me an email, calls me back, and he's like, what do you think of that? And it's like MOA, Max Ordinate Academy, in a little arch. I was like, dude, that's sick as fuck, man. That's badass. So then we go through like these questions, and they were weird questions that I wouldn't think of, like, how the fuck did you ask me about, my favorite soda to tell me that my colors for the company should be black and red? Like, how did that transpire? But so we found out what the company color should be based off questions that I answered. Boom, now we have a name, now we have logo, right? And then looking at the logo, it's kind of square with a rounded top. And after a few years, I think 3 or 4 years, I was like, I don't love it. I don't love the logo anymore. I want to be known as Max Ordinate, not as MOA. Right. So, okay, let's change the logo, but I'm doing it myself this time. So now I'm like, okay, let's get rid of the arch. Let's just do Max Ordinate Academy at the bottom. I like it. It's more rectangular. I feel like it looks better on stuff. All right, cool. And then we started coming out, every year we're going to have a special edition logo. We had the skull, we had this, and then it was like, okay, but this is our brand. What do we want to be known as? And, one time I was trying to make an advertisement, and I had covered up part of the logo, and I got yelled at by Four Guys Guns, Josh. Josh specifically was, he calls me and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, what? He's like, what are you doing with your advertisement? I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to promote.
I'm trying to
promote what we do here. And he's like, don't ever cover your logo.
Ever.
Don't ever. I'm like, my bad. Like, calm down a little bit. Okay. So, learning about your image, your brand, your logo. It's like, okay, we need to figure out a logo that isn't changing every year. Like every year I get a new idea. Like, man, I really like the spade with, you know, the skull on the inside of it. Like that was cool, right? But then skulls maybe sometimes turn people off, and it doesn't have that professional approach to it. And it's, you know, so then we come up with a different logo, and it's like, you know, I still on my personal guns do the rainbow in like honor of my mom, but it doesn't need to be part of our company, you know, like,
Yeah.
So you kind of look at the logos like, does it fit? You know, okay, that was last year, you know, the year before, whatever. So, you know, we experimented with different logos, and it kind of turned into every year we're going to do another special print. And then it's like, all right, we, you know, and it just happened this year, 10 year anniversary. It took me 10 years to like, what's that one secondary logo that's going to be permanent forever? And it was like, what do you think about this? You know, and everybody kind of like slapped the table. Yeah, I like it. It looks good. All right, cool. You know, and so here we are.
Yeah.
We have this secondary logo that I'm hoping we will stick with for a long time. And I'm happy with it. Like, and now the challenge, the going forward is we have to make this logo now synonymous with Max Ordinate, right? When people see that logo, it's not going to be what's that? It's going to be that's Max Ordinate, you know? So now that's the new challenge. So every downloadable target that we put up, fucking got that
New logo,
right?
Yeah.
And that was a bitch editing every fucking target, let me tell you.
I bet.
And I think, you know, that was part of the how do we get our name out there, right? Well, you know, anytime you offer something for free, the fucking people will come a calling.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, we can't offer all the training for free or we'll never make any money. Right. And this is supposed to be our job, our career. This is how we, you know, put food on the table. So now what do we offer that'll get people to the website? Right. It's like, why don't we do free targets? I think I saw a pistol company at one point, like, hey, download our free target. I was like, why aren't we doing that? Mike, how do we do this? And he's like, you just put in a zip file, make them download it by, you know, a $0 purchase. I'm like, outstanding. So now it's like every couple months come out with a few different targets where people can just print these online, you know, on their home printer, go to the range and have a drill, you know, like have some purpose to a range day. And I don't know how many are on there right now. Maybe
I think that the downloadable targets is probably single-handedly probably the best marketing scheme you've ever come up with.
Maybe.
I think it really is. I think it's the most, probably one of the leading drivers of traffic to the website.
It's got to be good, right? There's so many companies following our lead now. You know, you got RE Factor, which has got downloadable targets. I think you've got Modern Day Sniper, Ridgeline Defense, like all of these companies have now followed our path of let's give people free targets to download, you know? So it can't be a bad idea. We get a lot of traffic from it.
I mean, even I've taken a lot of cues from your marketing of your image and your logos and the clothing brand and taken that and I've worked that into like with my team of like, hey, this is the shit I like let's figure out a way to do that because I like the way Tyler does this. And so, you know, my last run of hoodies was sort of based off of a friend setup, which I love, but the next run of shirts and hoodies is going to have more of a, you'll see some portions of it that are complementary to Max Ordinate because like what you do with the branding is fantastic. And especially for a smaller company. So it's cool.
I think a lot of that's by accident, but
it's not, it's we who we are always comes out a little bit in what the work we do, right? Like I've done a lot of video editing, I've done a lot of Photoshop work, and there's always a little bit of me in everything that I do. So it's never an accident. It just sometimes takes a long time to get there. You're like, how the fuck did I end up with this?
I mean, I like to do fun stuff. You know, a lot of the stickers we came out with.
Like, how'd you do me a sticker? Like, I fucking love that.
Dude, that sticker's going to be,
it's going to be bitching.
You know, but a lot of stickers that, you know, I come out with, like, I'll see, you know, a logo or things will spark an imagination, you know, like probably one of my most favorite stickers is that circular one. And, you know, it's got the guy from Breakfast Club.
Fucking love that.
With the sniper rifle.
But
then it's got the Miami Vice background with the Ferrari. And it's like,
I love that one.
I dig the 80s, man. I was born in the 80s and, you know, like the sticker fucking, it appeals to me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking make these stickers. We'll print 300 of them, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
It's my favorite fucking shirt.
Yeah.
I begged. So Black Rifle Division, you'll see me in these shirts a lot. Black Rifle Division, it's on Instagram. He does the coolest fucking shirts. And I sent him a message. I was like, please bring back your fucking neon 80s. Like he's been out of stock forever. I was like, please, 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 please.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I think it's fun to take other people's logos and kind of put your twist on it, or things like that. Right now, I've been playing around with the Miller High Life logo. And there's a few of them. You got like Miller Lite High Life at the bottom, just a basic logo. But then you got another one where it's like Miller Lite High Life with a chick, just holding a beer. And it's like, how could we take that logo and put a sniper rifle in her hands, make her sexy, and then, Max Ord High Life, like, I like playing with things like that, and it's fun. I think people enjoy it. It could be cool little stickers or whatever, so, and the little stickers like that it's a small cost with a big upside to it, in my opinion. Like
that just comes, it really just comes from the way you talk about your business and the way you, I don't want to say live it, but the way it's not just a business, it's who you are.
Yeah.
That is so drastically different than a lot of any company. I don't even have to be in the same industry, which is different companies, where it's just like that person just running a business.
Yeah.
And they get up, they do the business, and then they go home, or they work in a lot because it's business, but they don't put themselves into it. They may work hard, they may put the hours in, but it's not, that business isn't them. If they could sell it for 10 million tomorrow, be gone, they wouldn't give a fuck, right?
Yeah.
And that's where even I struggle sometimes with, like, do I love what I do?
Yeah.
I do, but I question it sometimes. But when I look at you and the way you talk about it, it's like, there's no question.
Yeah.
Like, there's never a question of whether this business is you. There is no Max Ordinate without you.
I know, that's a horrible thing to say.
Yeah. I mean, my company could live without me.
Yeah.
Your company won't live without you.
That's the problem right now. Is like,
we've talked about,
as
how do you
grow?
Yeah.
You want to grow where people trust the brand.
Yeah.
Right. And so I feel like that's our next step in our evolution, is like, Tyler can't be everywhere.
Yeah.
Like
I think you being in Japan was a good test for, does Tyler's classwork, does Tyler's syllabus taught by somebody else translate?
I think it's done really well.
It's done fantastic.
And we got to make sure that, we don't grow too fast, because that's always the downfall to a company, is growing too big, too fast, and then you're out of control, right?
Believe me.
So my focus is, okay, maybe we need another couple instructors. Maybe we need another guy who can work law enforcement and another guy who can work the civilian side. But people who still come to our training, like, going forward over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, they have to know that if Tyler's not there personally teaching the class, that I have given my stamp of approval that you are still getting, like, there's not going to be a drop off, like, there might be little things here or there that I might do different, but I promise you that we would not have this person here teaching you if we did not have faith.
And I
think it would be delivered right.
I think the goal is for people to go to the class, and then when they go to their second class, they go, "Oh, hi, you're Tyler. Oh, you own the place?" They don't need to know. Like,
that is the goal.
It's not about Tyler anymore. Like, the goal is to it's just the company, the brand.
Yeah.
And they're so stoked that instructor was awesome.
Yeah.
Not knowing who even owns it.
Yep. And I have the guys pass out after actions to all the students, and they've all been 100% positive. Like, I love this, the class structure was amazing, the flow was great, like, good, like, that's where I want it. Now, how do we get better? Another thing I would say, especially now, is with so many different things going on, like, aerial sniper course, USMC sniper course, fucking law enforcement, all these things happening. And you realize that you can always make money, right? But you can't buy time. So where you spend your time is got to be important, right? Whether it's, with family or it's working for the business. So one of the things I started to realize is like, if my time's being dedicated to something, then how is that time progressing the company or making us money, right? Because if we want to build better stuff at the range, we need money. If we want to pay ourselves, we need money. If we want to advance as a company, it takes money, right? Or it takes partnerships, right? So as we have less time at our disposal, who I give that time to really starts to come down to like, how is this interaction right now benefiting the company? It doesn't have to be monetary. I'm not looking at like, hey, Joe, how are you going to make me money today?
Yeah, for sure.
But I am approaching it as like, if I spend 30 minutes here right now, what is going to be the good part coming out of this? Or is my 30 minutes better served somewhere else? Because with such limited time, you have to start thinking that way.
Yeah.
And it sucks to say that because
it does.
You want to interact with every person, but it's not always fruitful.
It's tough. When you have, I limit my personal interactions because I don't have time for fuckery.
Yeah.
Right. Like I don't have time to just sit around and do nothing and hang out and talk bullshit with people that doesn't have any value. Right. Not that I'm anybody special. I mean, I'm just fucking me.
It's still time you can't get back.
It's time I can't get back. I have daughters we're raising. I have a business to run. If I'm spending time hanging out with somebody, talking, discussing, do whatever, I want it to have value. If nothing else, I want it to be at some level a conversation that I'm going to take something away from. I don't need to talk about the fucking football game. I don't need to talk about, well, it's the US Open right now. So I would talk about golf.
So you would talk about golf. Yeah.
But I just, we don't surround ourselves with like, neither one of us has got a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Like we just
not a lot of friends, right? It's a small circle.
It's a very small circle.
The other thing is like, some of the stuff that I hate is like, the Signal app that we use to like text each other back and forth. Well, Instagram, I think, has the same thing, right? So, somebody sends a DM. It's not that I don't want to respond. It's like, maybe I'm fucking busy, So then, I find myself like, when the day is over, right? Your daytime is like your meat and potatoes. You wake up in the morning, I got my stuff to do. Like, I got to go for a run, I got to work out. And then it's like time to do fucking work stuff. And then, 8 p.m., whatever time it is that I finish, it's like, okay, now I can breathe. All right, let me grab my phone and fucking go back to these DMs. Like, and I'll answer people. Hey, somebody's like, what scope do you recommend? Or what do you think about this? Or can you explain this to me? So I'm sitting here like typing out these fucking, essays, fucking DM replies. And they're like, holy fuck, I can't believe you actually replied. Like, I want to reply.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it earlier.
Yeah.
Right. I need to do it when I'm just laying here like, fuck, the only thing I can do right now is type, because I'm dead. But on one side of it, we talk about like getting bigger and growing and nourishing the brand. But the one thing I don't want to lose is the approachability or the connection with the lowest level guy.
100%.
If they message in and they're like, I got a question, can you help me? And it's like, I want to reply to that guy.
Absolutely.
I don't want to make him feel like he can't ask us a question. We are not that big that we can't fucking hang out and just bullshit, and like talk. But sometimes it just sometimes it just, the time goes, and it goes and it goes. I think there was a law enforcement department. I can't even find the message anymore. And it fucking bugs me, but they messaged me and they're like, hey, can you like give us some talking points on why a transition from 308 to 6.5 would be a good idea? And I'm like, dude, I have so many awesome points for you, but let me type it up in something professional and like get it to you. But I'm knee deep in the middle of this military course. And my ass is literally working from like 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. every day. So I need some time. and then the email got lost. I can't find it. I can't remember who emailed it. And now it's like, I know there was somebody asked me that question and I just can't fucking get back
So
to
if
it.
you sent that message, send it again.
Send
he'll
it again.
reply.
I want to fucking answer this. I just can't find the message. So, and that happens. And you know, so if you are an individual who has messaged before and never gotten a reply, I'm sorry. Send it again and be like, hey, motherfucker, did you forget about me?
Well, and one of the other things, you talk about limited time, like one of the other things I run into is we have text messages, we have Signal, we have, I'm sure just because you're overseas, you probably have WhatsApp, there's Instagram, there's freaking Facebook, there's all these like messages. And at the end of the day, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't have the energy right now. I'll get to it tomorrow. And then I fucking forget. And sometimes I just miss people. It's
Yeah.
not intentional, but I can go to bed sometimes and I've got 30 fucking messages I've replied to. And I'm like, how do I get to those?
There has been times where I'm like, I'll see a message and I'm like, okay, this guy is asking about this. And I'm like, remember this. And then later I'll go back. I'm like, where did he fucking message me? So it's like Instagram and I'm typing in a keyword to see if it pops up. Okay, Facebook, keyword, no. Fucking DM, no. Like, where was this fucking message at?
What'll happen with me too is the perfectionist in me goes, it would take me 2 seconds to reply, but I want to give him a better answer.
That's always the key, right?
So I wait, and then no matter what I'm going to come up with, I'm like, you know what? I need to sit down and actually think about it. When a 5-word reply would have been fine.
I've just started sending messages like that.
It's
I want to give you a really good reply, but I'm super fucking busy. Can I hit you up later?
Yeah.
Boom, send.
Yeah.
Like
100%. Because I, and that's a common trait of people like you, where it would be easy just to send a quick reply, but like you want it to be personal or good. It's like when you wish somebody a happy birthday on fucking Facebook. It's like sometimes you just don't even do it because you don't know how to do it, because every variation of HBD has been done. And it's just one of those things where it's like sometimes you just procrastinate till you fucking just forget.
Yeah.
It's like,
so the Facebook one is pretty funny. Like somebody's birthday will pop up and I'm like, oh shit, it's Tony's birthday. Tony's my dog. And it'll be like, send him a birthday message. So I'll like hit yes. And it's like, it says happy birthday, exclamation point with like little fucking sparklies. And I'm like, let me put brother in there so it looks more personal.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what else to say other than like happy birthday, my dude,
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I don't want them to feel like just hit the send button.
Yeah,
So
100%.
dude, it's been an awesome journey.
Yeah.
It's 10 years. Got to come up with some cool ass video that kind of encapsulates, all 10 years.
Yeah.
Something from every year, just to be like, look at where we started. Look at where we are. We have a moving target. We have a moving target on the range right now, right?
Mhm.
And it was not cheap. I think that thing cost us like $8,000.
No, it was not.
Let me tell you, 2000, man, what year was this? 2014. I had Ryan, my partner, and I had Chucky.
Mhm.
I had them out at the 200-yard line. One guy hidden behind a hill over here, one guy hidden behind a hill over here, pulling a fucking cart across the dirt. This is your moving target, boys. And these guys, like when I told them the story, when I told them like, hey, I'm gonna have you over here, and they're like, what? I'm like, you'll be safe.
You're fine. You're behind dirt.
You're behind dirt. You'd be fine, right?
You're fine.
And then like I don't want to say we upgraded from there, but I found another spot where we had like a big ass berm, right? So I put together these targets on sticks. I'm like, all right, dudes, I need you to
Just
walk
back and
right?
forth.
Like, but don't cross this spot because it gets pretty low right there. So when you get here, stop, turn around. I was like, and if they hit the target, you just spin it and let them know that they hit. And like, dude, they be walking, all's good. I'm like, all right, I need you to jog, boys. Like they're jogging, and then like comes to the sprinting part, and they're like sprinting left and right, and they're like, how much longer? I'm like,
I'm tired.
only a couple more. Dude,
Oh god.
the things that we'll do for fucking
Oh,
to
absolutely.
put out a good product, man. So like it's been an experience, man, and I'm looking forward to the next 10.
We do some funny shit, man. My wife, I stole her car as my very first patrol car. I was like, "Babe, you got to give me your car. I got to
need
put stickers
your
on it.
car."
It's going up north,
Yeah.
right? Like, we do some weird shit.
Dude, I mean, I bought a car for, I think, the Ford Expedition that I had. I didn't have it for very long, but I've had the old Dodge Ram, like a 1999. I financed it from Navy Fed. It was like $7,000, 2-wheel drive, long bed, fucking loud ass muffler, put stickers all over it. And then where did I go? I had the Ford Dually. And then after that, I had the Ford Expedition. And then finally moved into like the cargo van. Like, this is going to be the
van was it. This is going to be what we're going to use, right?
And then, that went to shit when I got stuck in flat ground. Like, I'm on flat ground. How do you get stuck? Okay.
This isn't working.
It's time for a pickup truck, I guess, but man, just all of it. It's all been an adventure, so it's good times.
And there's so much in the works for the next 10 between the range, which is sort of, it's going to be, it's a work in progress right now. And I think, nobody really knows what the big plans are for it, but that's going to be
it's all up here.
The next 10 years is going to be epic with that. And then obviously just the evolution of the training.
You guys better just hope I don't die in the next 5 years.
I just hope you couldn't come back from Japan and stop being in Japan so we can get some of this done.
Working on it step by step,
Yeah.
step by step, right? But I truly do believe that every opportunity that you get, you should take. Like Japan has been a whole different experience, not just on the fun side, but on the professional side. Being more involved with the community that I used to be a part of, like different stuff, not just introducing techniques and ways of doing things to them, but also refining how I do things. And then, we've already talked like the Falcor defense thing, like the things that you will learn, optics company, I was part of a night vision company and like learning about night vision. And it's just like, like the different things, and all of it just helps you be better, right? So anytime that you can step outside of what you're doing to learn about something that you don't do, but is part of your life, you're going to grow, right? You're going to be better for it. You'll be more intelligent, right? And who was it? Albert Einstein, said, if you can't explain it simply, then you don't really know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm sure he didn't say it in that way.
Probably
but it's
not.
kind
But I
of
know
the same gist of it.
I know a lot of training instructors that use a lot of word salad to
There's
to
a lot of
explain their
word
techniques.
salad out there,
There are.
right? But I kind of look at it as like, if I hadn't had the US optics experience, where would my knowledge of scopes be? Like now I can look at a gas gun. I say that gas gun's fucked up. And they'd be like, what are you talking about? It's shooting. They're like, it's not shooting right. And I worked for a gas gun company where I learned all about the development process, like everything, and it helps you.
Yeah.
And it gives you a better understanding. So, man, I've enjoyed it. I think I love the process, but I also think that it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Not just the training company,
No.
just the business,
The life.
yeah. Right. And I've tried to push other people I know. I'm like, you should start a business. And I just start spouting off ideas. I'm like, think about this, and like, how awesome would this be? And like, you could do fucking yoga retreats and like take chicks out and do stuff and do whatever chicks do, on the weekend. And like, you could put this badass thing together with gift bags and all kinds of stuff. And they're just like, how did you think of this? I'm like, I don't know. It just fucking came to me, and I'm like, imagine you could put this together and it could be very little overhead and you just run with it, build your brand and like get out there and like hustle and the passion for being in business for yourself isn't with everybody.
It's not.
As I notice, as I'm like spitting out all these ideas just off the top of my head, and they're just like,
because there's a there's a comfort level in working for somebody else and just going to work, coming home and turning your brain off, right?
Gotta get that pension, bro.
It's not for everybody to be up at midnight to 1 a.m. in dead silence, just thinking about the business, insurance, guys, lawsuits, just things, right? Like
I think a lot of it could be fear driven, like
100%. Like it's not
what
for
if
everybody.
I fail? Then what? Or like if I have my own business, how do I retire? Like a lot of people will think these things, and it's like,
Yeah.
In the beginning, you can't think that way.
I've started a lot of failed businesses.
Yeah.
100%. Like
You know?
everybody I know that is successful in business has started a failed business at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, and I just took everything I learned from every part of my life, whether it was law enforcement, previous businesses, whatever, and just put it into this one.
Yeah.
Right. And at the end of the day, none of it matters. If you don't have the drive or the hustle like you do, you're not gonna be successful.
Yeah. Well, you can't let fear drive you,
No,
and you got to have that fire, man. You got to have that fire. Or you could be one of those people that just wants to work for somebody else, and there's
nothing wrong with that.
nothing wrong with it,
No.
because we still need those people.
Yeah.
Right. If we didn't have those people, then you wouldn't have an employee.
That's right. And I'd be a couple hundred employees less.
Yeah. So it was a good chat, man.
Yeah, it was.
good talk.
It was.
Good reminiscing about the the past 10 years. So here's to the next 10.
Yes.
And appreciate you guys listening, following us, being part of our community. If you're, we have some training videos that I'm working on right now. I'm trying to finish them up this weekend at the range with a couple people that are coming out to practice with me on Saturday. So we'll get those videos out to you guys on Patreon. So if you're a Patreon subscriber, be on the lookout for those training videos this weekend, as well as a new target that I came out with for Patreon only. Maybe I'll release it to the general public going forward in a couple months, but for right now, it'll just be for our Patreon people. So if you're interested and you want a little more connection with what we do and a little more insight on the training side, go to patreon.com/maxordinate1 and check it out. Right. It's $9 a month. You can cancel anytime that you want, but that's like a Starbucks these days, right? With inflation and everything. I mean, so it doesn't cost that much, but it helps fund some of the projects that we have working and that we're trying to put out there. So again, appreciate you guys' support. Thank you guys for listening. I'm Tyler.
I'm Jeff.
We're out. Later.